Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, with another deck first impressions. So I think I first saw this, maybe I didn't first see it, but a shout out definitely to Nina at Shuffle Tarot for the walkthroughs and reviews that she's done of this deck. Definitely tipped me over the edge in terms of getting it. And I think it was only after I got it that I realized that I have had this artist's art on my wall for, I don't know, over 10 years, maybe close to 15 years. I have not the Lakshmi that is in this set of cards, but a Lakshmi that my sister had found in a magazine, and I had it framed. So I have a Lakshmi, and it's actually right over in the corner over here, but the corner is dark, and I don't want to upset the camera by moving it, or the webcam. I just use a webcam. So this opens. It's a box that's a magnetic closure that opens, and I'm gonna. It's a pretty tight fit for the book, so I might, even though it's a great box, I might have to not use the box, which makes me unhappy. Because the book is so tight that I end up trying to kind of claw it out, and I don't want to mess up the book. So that's a real issue, which is super unfortunate because it's otherwise such a beautiful setup, but the book just fits so tightly that I'm going to end up messing with the tops, the bottoms, whatever, to get it out, or I have to tip it over, at which point the cards will fall out of their well. So I think I've just convinced myself that I won't be using this beautiful box, and even the cards don't want to fall out. So this is a Schiffer Red Feather. So it's like they've got an ultra perfectionist doing, I think of my father actually, creating their packaging, and it's so tight that it's not functional. So I'm even going to put this aside. I'm going to have to find something else to put this deck in, and I can think of something right off the bat. I have a beaded purse I think would be great for this. In fact, I'm going to go behind me. And do I still have it? Yeah. I was wondering what I would use this for next. So yes, there we go. So this is 49 cards, gold gilding. Unfortunately, it's already got some flaws in it, so it's kind of a cheaper gold gilding. It's also a cheaper gold gilding in the sense that it was pretty difficult. I had to do the cardstock is pretty bendy. So you know, people who don't like super flexible cardstock, and you see it kind of holds a bend also. But in order to get the gold to separate some of the cards, because the gold gilding was getting them to stick together, I had to twist them and work them in all kinds of ways in order to get to crack that seal that forms along the gold gilding. So that did not make me happy. And so if you have solutions to that are less hard on the cards, feel free to share in the comments, and or look it up. You know, ask your favorite people who love gold gilding how they deal with the problems that come with a lot of gold gilding, because this deck definitely had it. I didn't notice where there was, sometimes when you have that kind of gold gilding, I had that on my Tarot Illuminati, that when you separate the cards that are kind of stuck together, that there will be damage like along the edges. I didn't notice that in any of these cards, so hopefully as we go through here, this will only be my second time through the deck, I won't notice any of that. But that was one flaw in the deck, I will say, and a big reason why I couldn't care less about gold gilding, because it can potentially cause damage. You can see there's some colors there associated within the book. You can really, I guess you can kind of see it on the edge there also for the chakras. So this is 49 cards, 7 times 7. I didn't quite get how they were doing it. If this is the base chakra, and it's different, the color scheme for the chakras is different than what I guess I'll call the Western color scheme for the chakras. I don't know where we get the color scheme of red, orange, yellow, working from the base up, green, or pink, light blue, etc. I don't know where we get those from, but that isn't how this deck works, and I've seen others with chakra or yoga decks that interpret it differently. So we have what should be 7. Why don't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why don't I have 7? Are they still sticking together? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there it is. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got yellow for the base, kind of a light blue for the sacral, and then red for the solar plexus. We've still got green for the heart. We've got a purple for the throat. And then we've got another, we have a blue, and we have, I don't know, a little darker blue for the third eye, and then kind of a white or gray for the crown. That's the color scheme. So if that annoys you overmuch, this deck might not be for you. So I'm just trying to figure out what the 7 represent. If this is like the root of the root, and this is like the root of the sacral, the root of the solar plexus, that kind of thing, if they're looking at it that way, or if it's just seven aspects of the root chakra. And I think it's probably just 7 aspects of the root chakra. So there's information in here, basic information regarding the chakras, and it has the color scheme there in this area. And each card has 2 pages dedicated to it, and it's like just happened to land on Lakshmi here. So the card's deity, and there are some repetitions among the deities, if I'm recalling correctly. Conversing with the oracle, sensations in the body. So this is called keys for interpretation. Sensations in the body, the thinking process, little feelings and big emotions, pathway of spirit, and then keywords. So And those all remain the same. So those are the sections for every card. And then there are little insets for each, at the beginning of each chakra, set of chakras. There is something about the chakra. So it looks like 3 pages about the chakra. So a super thorough guidebook, and I look forward to reading it. The cards as an oracle and guide is in the back section, Pathway to the Oracle. Says they're not read as reversed. Here it says Talking with Shakti. And it gives some spreads, past, present, future, an open-ended triangular 3-card spread, of course a chakra spread. Actually, this is a 7 planets, 7 ancient planets spread. And then it's a special section on creating chakra spreads. So maybe it offers more than one. Yes, because it's covering the outer aura to some extent. Okay, so that's the book. So let's take a look at the cards. Again, I like the keywords, and even more so than the art, but I think just keeping, the art from the traditional culture also has some appeal to it. It's kind of like the decks I've chosen recently are demanding that I get over some pink issues. Issues I have with the color pink. It's probably one of my least favorite colors. So we're now in the sacral chakra, started with the root chakra. And so now we're into the solar plexus. This would be the solar plexus chakra. And so now we're at the heart chakra. It's actually kind of neat to be reminded of, I can't really use the word connect. I can't say I've ever been particularly connected to the Hindu pantheon, but reminded of the Hindu pantheon. And so now we're into the throat chakra. And the third eye. Oops. and the crown. Okay, so something has come up, so I'm going to have to either put a break in the video or do a separate video for picking a card. I definitely want to pick a card and do a reading here. So either there will be a little cut in this video or there will be a second video. Hello there. I'm hoping I can stitch this together with the walkthrough video. But if not, there was a walkthrough video and it's the Sacred Mysteries Chakra Oracle. And after I finished the walkthrough, I had to take care of something, and so now I'm back and we're gonna shuffle it. Yeah, I'm not the best for manipulating videos once they're made, so but I'll try to just add this to the end of the walkthrough and see if I'm able to accomplish that. So it does seem to shuffle quite nicely, you know, and it holds a bit of a curve, but not too bad considering that they're highly flexible. They're also high gloss. I'm going to shuffle them a little bit more and then I'm going to take a card. So they're actually quite a pleasure to shuffle, to be honest. And you can, if you're into the bridging bowing, I suppose you could do that a little better. But I think if you bowed it too much, it would keep the bow. So a little flexible. But you know, great backs. You could always just do this and pick a card or cards that way. Okay, clearly just in a shuffling mood. I'm going to split the deck and take whatever's on top, but we're going to read from the guidebook to see how that goes. And I got compassion, just so that you can see. I didn't hold the cards up super close, but you know, we'll hold this one up so that you can just see the beauty of the cards and the images, everything that's in them. So 49, that's the final card. That's the last card. So, 7th chakra. Excuse me. So it says the card's deity is Tripura Sundari. This goddess embodies the beauty of inspiration and the ascension of the 7th chakra. Through her, you can recognize everything is divine, including the divine qualities within your own being. So the next section is conversing with the oracle. In our era, no one has spoken or written about compassion more clearly than Dalai Lama, the 14th Tenzin Gyatso. I have no idea whether I just pronounced that correctly. A few of his brief, pointed statements are, there's a colon, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. We can reject everything else, religion, ideology, all received wisdom, but we cannot escape the necessity of love and compassion. This, then, is my true religion, my simple faith. Compassion is the radicalism of our time. Wow. Yeah, and I do fail in that. I do. Emotion, mind, body, spirit. This again is a section. Actually, it's interesting because in the lower chakras, so I'm looking in the third eye chakra, that we have separate. We have a section for sensations in the body, the thinking process, and emotions. And then we have a separate, well, we do have pathway to spirit. So those three sections in the lower chakras, the 1 through 6 chakras, those separate sections in the crown chakra are represented as one. Yes. And they add in spirit. So here it says, so I guess the assumption then is that when you're dealing with the 7th chakra, you're dealing with a more integrated reality in general. Or more integrated energy, perhaps. The 7th chakra, like the 4th, is love-centered. It enlists the mind and body as assistants, then solicits the awakened spirit to go beyond them. Compassion, spiritual knowledge, and awareness, which are natural components of this center, act as the recruiting agents for initiation into these greater states of consciousness. Whatever veils of illusion that may be clouding your ability to perceive others as troubles and suffering are lifted. The electrically charged Kundalini energy rises and triggers the opening of the 1,000 lotus petals of your crown chakra. It is said that at this moment you sample the nectar of the gods and momentarily become breathless and speechless. I confess I have not had that experience. Such compassion can extend not only to humans, but to all sentient beings. Someone who lives in this center, whether permanently or temporarily, recognizes that humans and nature are part of the same fabric. So this crown chakra has just a lovely, nearly for me unpronounceable name, but I'm going to give it a shot. So Sahasrara chakra consciousness is not limited to human affairs. It includes the realization that we and nature are interwoven threads of a single fabric. Unless we protect Earth's ecosystems and the natural places that heal our souls, as well as provide homes for all human and non-human companions, then in Ken Wilber's words, not only will we destroy the only earth we have, we will forfeit the only heaven we might otherwise embrace. Pathway of spirit, inner alertness. Get into a comfortable position and close your eyes. Imagine yourself awakening to feelings of limitless compassion toward any and all living beings that float through your mind. You can also be compassionate toward yourself as well as toward others. From this viewpoint, what thoughts, feelings, and or sensations do you have? So I guess I kind of have difficulty, if I'm having compassion for everything, then I'm also feeling everything's pain, which is, and I'm sure that that's a misunderstanding of compassion. I don't know if that's, where the lines are between compassion, sympathy, empathy. Compassion extends, now the next section within Pathway of Spirit, we just did the inner alertness and now we're doing outer awareness. Compassion extends not only to humans but all sentient beings. How compassionate do you consider yourself to be? Oh, I put myself at about 50%, better on good days. Be truthful. Here's an experiment. As you look at the plants in your window box, or stroll along the sidewalk and look at the beings walking by, or cast your gaze across your yard, zero in on a particular plant, bird, or creature, and be receptive to what it says to you. What is its message? What does it want or need? Can you feel compassion towards it? See, now this is interesting. I don't know that feeling compassion towards something is necessarily knowing what it wants or needs. In any case, so much as seeing that it may have a need that is a critical need that is not being fulfilled. Now, without using words, try extending compassion to another person in your life. You might even offer an act of kindness to someone you hardly know. Sometimes I think it's easier to offer an act of kindness to someone you don't know than to someone you do know, who you have barriers up toward, even if they're simple barriers. Like, like the person has done you some particular wrong, but there are professional barriers, etc. Keywords: innocence, childlike wonder, compassion, love beyond attachment, magic in the moment, expanding your capacity to give love, the radiant heart, nurturing others. And then there's a quote by Daisaku Ikeda, or Ikeda. Again, massacring another language here. Compassion does not mean looking down on someone, pitying them in their misery. Compassion is based on respect. We discuss life as equals, learn from each other, and strive together to improve our lives. When we help people expand their state of life, our lives also expand. When we help others, we ourselves are actually being helped. Our lives and the lives of others are ultimately inseparable. So that's an example of how these cards, how the guidebook reads in their interpretation of the word of a given chakra, the keyword of a given chakra. So interesting and worth reflecting on, definitely. It gives me the impression that, well, I don't know, with a lot of these decks that have, hefty guidebooks and stuff, there's this and the two other recent decks I got, which are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun and the Sacred Dakini. It's like they can be read on two levels. They can be read on, say you're doing a love reading for somebody and this card comes up. I'm not going to go to the deep spiritual level that was indicated here, and could be cause for meditation. And for me, if I were to pull this card and look at that in the book, then I would want to sit with that for at least a week, if not more like a month, like a one card a month thing. But I can see, again, especially with the keywords in this deck, that it can be used for everyday readings. That it's like, all right, so maybe you're having a fight, or maybe everything is going well, that you could use the word compassion to go off of that in terms of giving them advice. So let me just see if I pull 3 cards. Yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, you can just read this like in a Lenormand sense. Have a compassionate dialogue in order to see the other person's perspective. So I think this is it's really beautiful. For one thing, it's a really beautiful deck when you lay it out like this. There's definitely a radiance about it. Did I tell you I think I told you that I had art by this artist, but then I didn't give you the information. So how far apart do I have to be, or how far away? Come on, there you go. Cooch Daniels and Victor Daniels for the text. Illustrations by Pieter Weltevrede, W-E-L-T W-E-L-T-E-V-R-E-D-E. You know, it's very radiant. It's very radiant. So yeah, I think that they're highly readable in a practical sense, as well as offering great food for thought as like once a week or once a month cards to focus on in terms of our behavior in the everyday world and how we interact in the everyday world. So super deck, and I'm just really happy to have it. All right, everybody, take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.